Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Founders Insider Series, the only podcast destined to help founders in their endeavors, brought to you by fundraisebot.xyz. Today, for the first ever episode, we have a very, very special guest, very cool guy, very cool project, very successful, and he's going to share with us some of his tips, tricks, how he was able to make it this far, and what he's got going on as well. Jamie from IAgent Protocol. How are you doing today, Jamie?
No, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Alex, and I'm pretty excited about this podcast.
Me too. It really is the first ever podcast for founders by founders. In your case, anyway. And you've been doing some great, great things with iAgent Protocol. So what we're going to go over on this call for the listeners, it's really the roadmap on how you started, where you came from. You didn't go to Harvard. You don't have a PhD or doctorate and all these big things. You went through the grind. You made it out successfully. But what not a lot of people realize is that there are hundreds of thousands of projects that are stuck and nobody's helping them. So what would be really cool is maybe if you could just, in a few words, sum up what your project is. And I've got an interesting line of questions for you, Jamie.
Yeah, sure. So what we are doing at the agent is, I guess we from the beginning it was quite a unique idea. But then when it comes to the progress, it was also challenging too. So basically, what we are building is a new AI model that learns from visual data. Our focus right now is giving gamers to have their own AI agent from their gameplay footage. So we work with the visual data. Our devs are more focused on computer vision, behavior cloning, those AI stuff. And while we working on this project, originally we came from Web3 background. All of our devs, like the most of our team management team members are we all met in Web3, so it's quite different than traditional setup. And we had to recruit guys from Web2 to join us. Our roadmap is like right opposite. The guys coming from Web2 with a lot of support and a previous experience building in Web3, but we naturally met in Web3 and start building together. Now we started, we've been successfully recruiting from Web2 researchers, developers, and such, and basically, yeah, trying to bring something quite unique to the table.
Thank you for that, Jamie. And I think the big question is how much did you raise?
In total, we raised close to 3 mil, like right around that amount, but the basically fundraising from series of rounds, series of different type of investors. It's been a almost 2 year grind to raise all the funds. So yeah.
It's big, and that's called dedication, I think. And I guess the first question to kind of bounce off this is how long or how many VCs do you think you pitched to in total?
Honestly, I don't have exact number, but if I include VC individuals, everybody, I would say there am I gonna be like close to. I don't want to go crazy number, but more than 500 for sure,
Wow.
in my opinion. So, that includes individuals and others. That's what I'm thinking because I was like meeting, for example, like in Web3, you work Monday to Sunday, Sunday to, there is no limit, time limit. And especially when you are in a stage that you wanna to close the rounds and things like that, you just keep going. And sometimes I used to have like 10 or more calls a day, and then usually call lasts for half an hour or so. So considering that, I think easily 500. Yeah, I think I exceeded. I never did the
Big,
counting, but yeah.
big number. That is a very big number. And do you mean you got on calls with like 500 people, or were some of that 500 just kind of like cold outreach via emails, or were they like real
Uh, I,
conversations you had at a
no, I
certain point?
think I think mainly calls I'm counting, but considering some of the connections weren't in cost, so there would be problem more. But I'm just giving you a raw number, yeah. That was kind of our experience.
That's a very, very big number. It's actually really bigger than I would have imagined. It's incredible. And at what stage of building your project did you actually start pitching? I think that's a very important question because very often when projects reach out to investors, they're not at the right stage, they don't have the right metrics. We know that VCs like to see a lot of traction as well, including social media, depending on the founders, the projects, the VCs. So in your case, what was it stage wise of your project that you
Mm.
thought, now we need to raise?
I would say it was it's still early stage, yeah. But then at the same time, we already been building 1 year. So basically, we kind of start the project in like I mean, we first start the project January 2023, and then when we raised the angel round, it was April 2024.
Wow.
So like after a year, but previously that for 1 year. Mainly we work for free. Like we almost working for free right now. Most of our management team, and then our guys at the core team, founding team, we work for free for 1 year, including there was a few. We started with a small team, so a couple devs was we were paying, but I was mainly self-funding it, and then that's how once you have like little things going, and then you can start. But you can start at any stage, I think. But in our case, we started after 1 year. But even then, we were still very, very, very early.
When you say very early, do you mean that you had a prototype, an MVP, you had social following? How was it?
Yeah, of course, we had social following. First angel check that came in April. I had to meet the guy in Dubai. Fortunately, we were in Dubai, but I was gonna, and then we met him in his office, went to show him like what we are building. We had social, I think we had like 20K followers on Twitter organically. And then we had Discord. We almost had every setup, everything ready. So that's when like, the guy come. But I don't think the investment came because we had followers or something. It was that we like, uh, you know, uh, we went to see him like in person, that type of thing. That first check is very critical. So we went to his office to see him. Yeah.
Two questions I think the listeners are going to be asking themselves. How did you get up to 20,000 followers on Twitter organically? And the second question, how did you become acquainted with this angel?
In terms of social, because so my team, like I said, um, we are native Web3 founders, builders. Yeah. So within my team, there is, I think, my core team is 6 individuals, plus we have two new Radan addition, and out of all six, maybe five of them previously founders of other projects. So they have like dev company, two of them are running dev company, one are running auditing firm. My co-founder Raju, he formerly running AI studio that been operating for the last 7 years. I was a former founder of I still a founder of NFT community called Jirasan PG Group. We had already 7,000 followers, like 7,000 community members there. So when we come together, it was just our network that helped us to grow naturally, organically.
Is
Um,
that something that you would recommend to any founders who are coming from Web 2 as an example, or even in Web 3? Usually the core team, it's maybe three, four people, like when it really starts. Would you recommend to them to have people who've already launched projects in Web 3 before on their team? Do you think that's a very big, powerful driver for
Uh,
success?
I would almost 99.9% say that you need at least someone who built something before in Web3, because this space itself like operates lot different than Web2 because I had Web2 companies and how things work, right? Everything is like everything is like pre-planned. There's nothing goes wrong within the scheduled roadmap or campaign as long as like the team is delivering. But Web3 is very different ecosystem and plus it moves so fast. So I would say at least like have one, two individuals coming from Web3. That will definitely gonna help a lot. Similarly, Web3 companies having experienced individuals from Web2 is also helpful. So it's a combination that I think gonna help everybody.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
And how did you become acquainted? This is the other big question as well. A lot of the projects that are trying to raise, they actually have good ideas behind it. They've got good innovation. They genuinely want to bring something good for the industry. Seldom do they have the network with the appropriate investors. And this is where usually what I've seen, either they have some funds where they can splash quite big amounts on either big accelerators, big consultants, like advisors who are actually good and do the job. But for those who don't, it usually becomes a race to the bottom where maybe they give out some tokens to people who aren't great at what they do, but they're in Web3 and they can't get anything better because they don't have the budget. And they promise them, we're going to help raise funds, we're going to make introductions, all these different things. So, how did you actually become acquainted with these 500 VCs? Was it cold outreach? Because that's a little gold mine in itself. Being
Mm.
connected to 500 VCs, it's very big. How did you do it?
Uh, like I said, it took me a year and a half probably to meet those people, right? It's not, uh, I mean, it wasn't easy, to tell you the truth. And we luckily enough, we didn't do cold reach or something because we had previously network a lot of those happen to happen through word of mouth. And but all this time, like you kind of relying on individuals to connect you please, and then you're doing your own research like who should we talking to. But I still think we like we weren't like being able to talk to the right people we wanted to talk to all that long. But like through the final stages of fundraising, there was like uh, like finally a bit more VCs joined in because they see the others are joining. So I think in terms of like the experience, I would say definitely not the easiest in the world, especially that if you are starting as a new founder, starting a new project. And for example, our project is very unique. There is no much to compare to in Web3. So that adds like additional percentage of risk to it. Um, so yeah, I guess our case is that we just use all of our network and exhausted it to to be able to meet all those people. Yeah.
I can imagine. You're emphasizing on the fact that you need to have a team that's already very well integrated into Web3. They already have a network, and it makes everything so much easier, yeah?
Definitely, because your growth stage along the way, you're gonna make so many mistakes. Web3 is not like I said, it's different. And when you do make mistake, if you've seen this before, or if you've seen the because you're dealing with the community, right? You're dealing with different type of many different type of individuals, all has a different type of incentive to support you. But when they see you like making mistakes or when things go wrong, it's a very vocal space. So for Web2 guys, you always like had this space to work. You can take your time, but it's not work this way. So like having experience to deal with those things before, because it's very important, right? That a lot of the successful project in Web3 usually have founder who kind of lead by example, or being influential, or always communicative, transparent. So I think it's important to understand that aspect at least. So I would say, yeah, definitely. Experience helps. Yeah.
In everything. And I've got an interesting one here. You've spoken to over 500 VCs for just this one project of yours, IAgent Protocol. A lot of founders, when they start doing this outreach and they don't have the network that you do, so hopefully this will help them. They know that they need to pass some phone calls now to get some guys on board. You've already been through this many times. But for those who are grinding and they've got a bit of a network, they're hopping on calls and it's just stuck, it's just not working. They're getting really bad feedback or no feedback all the time. Very often they feel alone in that sense, and they always see on Twitter this project that is absolutely terrible. It's raised millions of dollars running. What the heck? How is that possible? Um, I'm pretty sure that they're not alone. It happens to a lot of founders all the time, and it doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that it's not quite there yet. So, out of good faith, what's the worst feedback you had when you pitched this to a VC?
Worst feedback. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I didn't keep like those all those memories. Of course, there was like people
You
rejecting
blocked them
you.
out.
It's not possible. I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't know if it's a like why even need users need agent was initially like most because we came when there was no AI agent AI conversation in Web3. So when we started at the beginning, people say like why AI, why agent, like why you wanna do it on blockchain. So I had to educate the guy from the beginning, like fundamentals, and then at this point, this guy confused fully. You know what I mean? You kind of get that feeling, but just don't give up. As a founder, you wanna be keep keep grinding, keep. So it's a. I don't think it's a. I don't find all those meetings as a wasted time or something. I find them as a kind of me growing into because you pitch to one guy, at least understand that, make that guy like believe in it a little bit. That's a success for you, right? So it's not all about the money at the end of the day. You want to talk to more people. Then so many people that I had the conversations before that who didn't invest it into is still coming around along the way, and then they come back and supporting us. Like not, you know, sometimes there could be the case that VC doesn't have money too. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
This is space is nobody knows exactly who's doing what. A lot of hidden things behind the scenes. So I would say don't take any meeting as a failed meeting. Every meeting, try take one or two things with you and make friends along the way. So that's the best thing you can do.
I love it. That is fantastic advice. That is really, really good. And another question here. So, I've been in the industry for a while. I've more or less, I wouldn't say seen it all, heard it all, but I've been around long enough to see a lot of it, and a lot of the bad things as well. And what I've seen is when projects, the founders, they don't necessarily have the network that you're able to accumulate within your team. And hopefully, again, now they know that that's something they need to do straight away. Has it ever happened to you where you're approached by entities saying that they will help fundraise? They've got connections with so many VCs, all the exchanges, all these different things. They're going to do everything for you. It's going to be perfect, but you just need to pay $20,000. Something
Mm.
like that. And even if you pay a few $1,000s, all of a sudden nothing happens. They say, well, we tried, we spoke with this guy, it didn't work out. So when you were building, did it happen that you wasted money on really bad services?
Uh, Wasted money, maybe not. Maybe we did. Of course, we did waste the money on very unnecessary things along the way, but not on this aspect. But I really like how you bring this up. This this is the typical Web3 kind of business model. Promise you a lot, right? And, and then the service charge, they make money, and then they'll like a lot of people like go around and I know this guy, I know this guy, this founder, he's my buddy and all that. Truth is, his body doesn't make difference, right? So I would say see, yeah, I would say like so many times people I met, because out of those 500 probably like 400, 300, 400 was just so like called, like even there is a group chat, like whatever a meeting happened, just like the one of those 100 people those VCs are meeting. So there is uh, I would say there is nobody can raise for you but you. Don't trust in like pre shiny message or shiny promises, because along the way you're gonna learn that it's you and your team pretty much at the end of the day. So uh, I do definitely agree there is a lot of empty promises in Web3.
It's a shame. It's a shame. And this is where usually when projects they've been trying to raise, they feel stuck, they feel a bit helpless, and this is where they maybe at one point think, damn it, let's try it. But again, they may not have the budget for the top end one, which might actually work, but they go with the lower end services, and this is where it's usually very empty and nothing happens, and it's just a race to the bottom. And I've kept you for a while already, Jamie. I know that you're still very busy. You've had a very good launch as well, able to sort things out with an exchange we won't name, but everything's going really well for you at this stage. So congratulations again on that. Maybe one more question before we depart. What would be the best advice you could give a founder who's building, doesn't have a lot of financial resources? He's got an okay team together, a couple of people, they've still got their day jobs, they're still working, but at nighttime, daytime, they're working on the project at the same time and they're trying to fundraise. What would be your best advice you could give to that team?
Especially founders, yeah. Founders or CEO who's leading the project. I would say do everything. Might sound stupid, but this way you're gonna be able to learn a lot more about your team, your project. Also, you're gonna like you're gonna improve, and then you're also gonna learn the goods and bads about the project too. Like because at some point you gotta be realistic, right? Uh, there is a reason why you're not being able to race actually. There is a reason why I learned that too. Like almost a year or so, like, we stuck, we couldn't race, like because maybe it's your pitch deck, because maybe it's your tech, because maybe it's way you speak, way you speech. There could be many many reasons, but if you are not the one who's like behind the scene on top of everything, you're always gonna be missing that aspect. Like could this be just a very simple tweak to the deck, or could this be just very simple changes to the tokenomics, or whatever it is? But if you are the one who's pitching, plus if you are the one who's presenting your project into public, and on top of that you're running the project, you want to be like on top of everything. So I do the pitch deck yourself, do the write the white paper yourself, even do the Twitter post yourself, message the community yourself, talk to your investors yourself, like do everything. If you can code it. This is the only way to get better every day. So I would say don't worry, even one two man team can do quite a big things, right? So that makes you kind of like understand that not everything is money, right? If it's all about money and funds, if that was the case, you might be dealing with like too big of a thing for you, right? So I would say try to do everything, and along the way you're gonna get better and better. So and then it's a turn. It just kind of there's that moment, right? Like you basically kind of just figure it out.
Like when you become a dad, it's like, okay, we'll sort
Yeah.
it. It makes a lot of sense, and thank you very, very much for your insight, Jamie. I really do hope that all the founders listening, they will appreciate it as well. Hopefully, we've been able to help a few of them out there just with the words that you gave. It's very simple in hindsight, but if you don't know it, you don't know it. And like you said, there may be one small little tweak that you need to make, and all of a sudden, everything is better. It could be the deck, it could be the team, it could be the tech, and just make sure that you're constantly tweaking, make sure you're constantly getting better. And I think the final takeaway is that you're never better served than yourself. So don't waste money on the low quality services with empty promises. If you do it, be sure that they're quite, I would say, reputable, and not just the brand awareness and the fluff around it, but ask around, make sure that you get the relative feedback from people who've been through it. And yeah, you just got to count on yourself and you got to stick through it.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Jamie. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you,
Thank you
Alex.
all for listening to the
Bye bye.
first ever episode of the Founders Insider series. There'll be many, many more to come. Thank you.
Thank you.